Prior to starting this speech assignment, I had no idea that food insecurity was a problem in Nebraska. As I continued the research, little did I know that I would find out it was a really big problem. If you're like me, you probably didn't realize this either. I think the phrase out of sight, out of mind rings true more often than not, but that's why I'm here, to educate you on this prevalent problem and send you forward with a solution to help. To give you a better understanding of what I'm asking, I'll give you the breakdown of the numbers, the statistics, the facts, inform you of the resources that are available, and discuss some possible solutions and help you picture what a world would look like with these solutions in place. So to start, why is this a problem? What kind of numbers show that this is a problem? Feeding America is a nonprofit organization. They're made up of food banks. They help people worldwide. They do research every year, and according to them and Will Bauer from NET News, child food insecurity rate in Nebraska is 17.4% compared to 11.6% for the overall population. They've also revealed that 1 in 9 people in Nebraska struggle with hunger and food insecurity, and out of those people, 1 in 6 are children. Senior citizens on fixed incomes, families that have lower income, they are the people that tend to be more food insecure, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect other people. If you are not struggling with this, you probably know somebody who is, or if you're in school, there's probably kids that are struggling. It could be a friend, a family member, maybe even your neighbor. That can impact families in more ways than you know, especially if you haven't been there. I recently set up a food and hygiene drive at our community college. I didn't realize that this was something that went on. I didn't have any prior knowledge to it until I was asked to help. We had like diapers and wipes. I know that's not really food insecurity, but things that people struggle with. We had canned items, boxed goods, hats, coats, gloves, that sort of thing. These projects go around all over town. This was just one that I was able to help with. A research article done by Craig Gunderson, a professor at the University of Illinois, and James Ziliak, an economics department chair. They did some research on kind of what these effects of food insecurity do to people. In adults, there's chronic illnesses such as high blood pressure and diabetes. In children, they can suffer from anemia, as well as some behavioral problems like ADHD can come from food insecurity. Most times people think this isn't a problem, they don't see it. If you're not aware of it, like I said, you don't know what's happening, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening. There are resources in our town and at the government level that are available. Food for Thought is a program that Hastings College here in Hastings does. They send home meals with Hastings Public School children over the weekends that are on like the free and reduced price lunch program. SNAP, commonly known as food stamps, they are at the government level. They provide families with an allotted amount of money to spend on groceries per month, but there are things you have to meet to qualify for them. There's income restrictions and hours that you have to work at a job. If you're not working, you have to show that like you're applying for a job so many a week. Feeding America, they showed that 48% of children are the ones that receive SNAP benefits in Nebraska. 44% of people that are food insecure can't receive these benefits. That is just due to some of the regulations and how difficult it can be to get SNAP, something that I think we should reform a little bit. People that are struggling, it seems like they don't get it. People that could maybe do without it seem to be getting it, or that aren't working seem to be able to get it. Another resource, Summer Food Service Program, they, are a resource that children 18 and under from low-income families, they are able to get food from a community organization throughout the summer when school is not in session. However, Nebraska is in the low spot of 49 out of 50 states that participate in this. We are only sending 1 meal per child out of 10 children home over the summer. So 1 out of 10, not very good considering the amount of children on staff being 48%. Some solutions that people elsewhere are doing, in Vermont, they have implemented free lunches across the board. So there's not the free and reduced price program anymore. It's every child has a free lunch. So these food insecure families don't have to worry about spending money on lunches. 65 of the schools in Vermont offer this. They have also implemented supporting mobile food services. So a lot of places here we know of things like Lyft and Uber, but not for food. They support more of like veggies and fruits being delivered to families. Vermont has a really high access of, they're limited on transportation. So having these mobile food banks, in a sense, helps get food to different families in different communities. They also struggle with like younger youth not being in school or not being able to afford to go to school. So they support other services with food. So different things that go on in the community, they have food there so that hopefully they can draw children out to come to those programs. People to address in this situation to make changes: school boards, the mayor, yourself. You can call the school board, you can sit in on a town meeting, write a letter to the mayor. Some people aren't comfortable with this, but you yourself can help. Like I said, I work that food bank. Clean out your pantry. There's can drives you can donate to. I know that, again, oftentimes if this doesn't affect you, you don't think about the things that you can do, but I know that I clean out my food pantry and there's outdated stuff and I throw it away. You can donate that. Usually stuff, even though it's outdated on cans, is still good. The money needed per year in Nebraska to solve this problem is $107,760,000 per year. That's a big number, and I think that shows that the resources we have that are available and the stuff people are doing isn't working. I get that money is something that would still be needed even if we have better resources, but 107 million seems to be a lot. DHHS, they did a food mapping in 2017 to show that we spend more money on transportation and housing than we do on food. Our housing prices, especially in Hastings, are really high. And then in the bigger cities, they're also very high. Transportation, I know that in like a smaller community here, we don't really have like bus systems, but like Omaha and Lincoln, they do. And the transportation there is really high and it makes our food fall behind. If you want to look up food insecurity, like on Google, there are charts, there's maps, tables, graphs, all showing like the trends of food insecurity in Nebraska and the trends with children. If you can think about like all the food drives and can drives that you don't know about, but that if you helped with, that could really help, I guess, solve or work towards solving the food insecurity problem. So in conclusion, this again might not be something that affects you, might not be something that affects your family, but if you can make a difference or a change, wouldn't you want to do that? The numbers show it really is an issue. There's resources available, but they're not working. Solutions have been proposed to work towards a tomorrow that children aren't hungry. Call the school board, go to the town meeting, participate in a can drive. Do something yourself if you're not comfortable going to the authorities. There's so many different ways to be involved. What's your excuse not to?